Hi, I'm Amelia Rhodes. Thank you for coming to my blog today. I'd like to introduce you to my friend and fellow author, Susie Finkbeiner. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And this is part 2 to an interview that we are doing together on our blogs. If you missed part 1, you'll want to check that out at Susie's blog, susiefinkbeiner.com. There's a link below this video. Trust me, you don't want to miss part 1. So here we are in part 2. I'd like to talk to you about your new novel that's coming out. And it's titled Paint Chips. Now that's a very curious title. How did you come up with the idea for the title Paint Chips?
I have had the title Paint Chips for years, probably almost a decade.
Wow.
I was sitting at the Festival of Faith and Writing at Calvin College. I was in college at Great Lakes Christian College, and I was sitting by my friend Alex Toppinch and my professor George Brown. And we were in this workshop where they would show a clip, a movie clip, and we would have to write something about that movie clip. And one of the movie clips was crazy. It was like people in dancing bear costumes. And I'm not quite sure what they were doing. They were speaking German.
Bears in costumes speaking German.
Dancing.
Dancing, okay.
Right? And a lot of real, excuse me, but trippy music. And so what I wrote about that was, my mother always told me not to eat paint chips.
Wow.
And so I said to my friend Alex, because we had to read it in front of everybody, and everybody laughed, and I said to my friend Alex, if I ever write a novel, which I probably won't, I'm going to name it Paint Chips.
Wow, there's so much to that. Your mom telling you not to... Why did your mom have to tell you not to eat paint chips?
It's fiction. If you're wearing a dancing bear costume with that kind of music...
Okay,
yeah.
So how did you get then from dancing bear costume, paint chips, to the actual story of the book, which is not about dancing bears in costumes?
Right, you will not find a single dancing bear in my novel Paint Chips.
Okay, so how did you go from that then to the actual story?
Well,
Where did that idea come?
I was actually sitting in a coffee shop called Kava House, which I would sneak out of work early every day and go write. And no one knew that I was writing a novel because it's crazy to write a novel. And I thought, you know what, I can start the novel with this opening title. My mother always told me not to eat paint chips. And originally it was a novel about this overprotective mom and her daughter rebelling. And the whole first draft was along that line, and it was a really strange novel. And it's not that novel at all, not even close. I mean, the closest thing is the character name of Cora, and that's the only thing that really transferred over, except the title. And then as I was writing it, I thought, well, I can't use the title Paint Chips, until I was writing the end of the novel. In the first draft of the novel that did become Paint Chips. That was not the dancing bear eating paint chips thing.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Right. And I realized that it had significance for Cora as a character, and very spiritual significance for her. I won't tell you what that is. You'll have to read it and actually get far enough into it that you'll read it toward the end.
I think I don't know what version I saw back when we were first getting to know each other and you were working on the novel a couple years ago, probably version 2 or 3, very early in. And it was quite a ways into the book. I kept thinking, where does paint chips fit into this? And when I got to that moment, it was beautiful. It was a very great analogy. So you will have to read it and find out for yourself.
Well, and the analogy in this now final draft, because there will be no more drafts, but in this final one, it is a theme throughout. And so you'll be able to read it.
So how many years did it take you to write it, and about how many versions do you estimate you went through?
From start until publication, it took just about 2.5 years.
Okay.
And it went through about 12 different rewrites.
Wow. That's a lot of dedication.
That's what happens when you don't know how to write a novel. But really, yeah. I call it my learning novel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, and you can find a link to Susie's blog beneath this. You can also find a link to her book, which is available as a digital book January 15th for your e-reader, and then it releases in paperback form in April. Is that correct?
April 15th. It is up for pre-order.
It's available for pre-order for paperback, and you can get the digital version January 15th. So thanks for joining us. Again, if you missed part 1, check out Susie's blog, and make sure you participate in the fun prizes and giveaways we have going on too. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.